Yo, Crypto Nation. It is the State of Economics 101, the good, the bad, the ugly. Brought to you by me, of course, Nemesis. Yo, let's dig in. Hey, welcome back. Yo, what is going on, everybody? What up, what up, what up? It's another FA Wednesday. Well, maybe not so FA. I mean, markets have been taking a shit, and we can sit there and figure out why, guys. Let's kind of dive right on into it and figure out why it is the market is doing what it's doing. What's going on? Rude, my dude, what's going on? Don't forget to smash that lizardy like button as you guys are sliding on in here. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. You guys know what to do. This ain't your first time here, guys. We know that. There's a lot of lurkers in the background. You should think about subscribing if you're watching, especially. You know, I'm just saying, helps me out. Yo, what up, Automatic Beats? Hey, he's like, F.A. Hump Day. It reminds me of all those commercials with the camel. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Guess. Hump Day, yeah. So what is going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great week. We are halfway through your slave trade of a week. But let's go ahead and take a look at all things market. This is going to be a deep dive with anything that affects all markets, not just crypto, guys. So let's dive in. So, Bitcoin's down almost 2% in the last 24 hours. For the week, we are down almost 8% off the week from the weekly highs. It hurts, but the fundamentals have not changed in that sweet busy Bitcoin. There are things that are holding on to some little gains here and there as you come ripping through. There are always some kind of green inside of a bear market, guys. And it is a deep bloodbath. And this is just page one, the first 100 cryptos, and only a handful of them are really in the green, right? And they will be short-lived. Like you can see here, whatever this is, Bone Shiba, whatever that is. And you can see the chart looks like it's starting to roll over here. It's going to respond to the rest of the market. It's just, for whatever reason, it had a little bit of pump still left in it, and it's going to eventually drop down. It will. It's going to happen. Whatever this Pax Gold is, it ain't doing too hot either. I'm going to call that within margin. So in the last 24 hours, it's holding, but overall, not doing good. Rocket Pool doing okay, but for the week, it's taking a bloodbath. Let's see here. USDP, whatever Pax dollar is, it's probably an algorithmic stable coin, so I'm not going to sit there and look at stable coins as up or down, really. I mean, some people can arbitrage it, not my cup of tea. Tron coin or Ton coin doing up. Again, guys, we are talking a handful of coins that are really up. Everything else is down, and anything that's up today will be down soon. That's just how it works. Yo, what's up, Rude here? He's like, the BMW had ollie pressure problem. That's why the Vanos not work 100%. Oh, wow. Had an oil pressure problem. Damn. Well, as long as you can get through it, and get that thing through to Dino, man. I'd love to know what the numbers are when you get it finally pull. He's like, XRP is up. Yes, and it's up on the last 7 days. But guys, you're getting excited over something that's worth 38 cents. It hasn't really moved too far from where it's at in the last 3 years. It's like if it can get and maintain over $1, it's like it'll show that the community strength is bigger. But the community strength is practically dead for XRP. It's a zombie coin at the very top. The only reason why it looks like it has all this, has all it's in there is that it's got institutional money wrapped up into it. It is a very goofed up project. Needless to say, it's trying to be a bank, so it's got some bankers' money into this. They're paying MoneyGram or MoneyGram to make them an option on them. They've paid millions to MoneyGram to make XRP an option through their platform, and to date, nobody's ever used it. They're in hot litigation. I don't see that XRP could ever get traction unless the SEC outright states that XRP is not a security. Right now, XRP is getting the SEC's under their crosshair. So what I mean by that is that not Jerome Powell, Gary Gensler with the SEC is gonna be throwing the book at XRP here. And XRP has as many lawyers as they possibly can to stop what the wrath that is about to happen to them. So I don't see XRP in the long term holding its own. It's amazing that they're even where they're at this point in the game. That they're, it's like, I think because of the fact that a lot of these shit exchanges offer XRP on there. It's cheap, and it's at the top of the list. Most people, and this is real talk here. Most people will go onto like a coin checkup or something like that, right? And they're gonna look at the top 20. They're not gonna know what the hell they're getting involved in any way, shape, or form. And then they're going to go to their whatever exchange they choose to go to, and they're going to sit there and look at anything that's in that top bracket, that top 20 bracket. Normally, I would say in the top 10, typically. So that's why you don't see a lot of people piling in the SHIB. You don't see people piling in the Litecoin. You don't see people piling in the Uniswap, because they're pretty much, they look at Bitcoin, they're like, okay, that's what got them here. And then they start looking down and they're like, they probably look at Tether and they're like, what's this? And they look up Tether and it's got all this stuff on there that's evil, bad, don't trust. So they move on. They look at Binance and they're like, oh, that's too expensive. And then they're like USD coin. They're like, oh, no. And they go through this top amount. Okay, I've got $100. I know nothing about crypto, right? I know nothing about crypto. I've got $100. I want to get people tell me to get into Bitcoin. So I'm not listening to the people that tell me I'm going to get into Bitcoin. No, they take that $100 and they're like, what's going to get me the most? More is better, right? That's going to be people's thought on this. So now you're going to be looking at people looking at XRP or Matic, Polygon. So you got XRP and Polygon being a easy start point for everybody. Even Cardano. So there's your top 3, depending on where you are at and what's being offered. Unfortunately, XRP is easily offered. So there's a lot of people that I know that got into XRP, and I'm like, so how badly underwater are you on your investment here? And they're like, oh, it'll come back. I'm like, that bad, huh? And they just look at me and they're like, yeah. Did you buy it at the top at $3? Because it's never gonna get there again. And it's like there's no way that it's gonna get to $3, let alone $5. It's like people don't look at there's certain fundamentals. There's $526 billion. If you have a market cap supply of 19 billion, you've got to be able to spread that into 50.26 billion. So, I mean, you would hit the XRP's market cap would have to be $50.26 billion in order to hit $1 in XRP now. So, I mean, there's an easy fundamental that people don't recognize is how it really boils down to. You got your market cap, you put that into the supply. That's what each individual unit is of your supply. So, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people smoking that hopium right now, really badly. You're never gonna see $50 billion back in the XRP. Not gonna happen. There is not enough confidence in that centralized banker coin or wannabe banker coin. So moving right along. So we have, one of my favorite places to come up onto if I want to see what the market's doing here. It is TradingView. It is free. If you guys want to sit there and make a free account, you certainly can. You can pay for some premium things on here. I don't. So there's that. It just means that I see ads. Do I care? No. It doesn't annoy me enough to want to get a paid subscription on this. So S&P 500 trading sideways, NASDAQ trading sideways, Bitcoin overall about 2% down. The dollar strength is kind of flatlining there. The Dow Jones Industrial Average trading sideways, Russell 200 trading sideways. Nobody's making big market moves, right? Stocks, Apple's up, a little over 0.75%. AMD is up almost 4%. Of course, AMD is also selling their products for even cheaper now because nobody's buying it. Just saying. AMD has kind of hurt themselves with thermal issues. So now everybody's now scared to touch their stuff because they're like, well, is it all going to be bad now? It's bad enough we got to deal with mediocre drivers on launch day. Now now thermal throttles. Yeah. But it's good to see that AMD is up 4%, is up almost 4%. So if you guys are in any of the tech stocks like that, you're doing pretty good right now. Amazon up almost 0.5%. Tesla down 3%. Damn, they are having a rough one today. But we have a lot of stuff that's been under, Elon Musk is under fire from multiple directions now. He is now the hated one from the Democrat side because he's releasing all this information to the public that they thought was going to be 100% private information. And unless there was a contract that Elon Musk signed, he can release whatever internal documentations he has. It's a private company. If he wants to sit there and make internal issues public knowledge, you know what? Not only would I respect that move, but that would be the first company to ever, really get away with it. So seeing some private conversations, and now you're seeing that the government, some of the arms of the government is now reaching out to them we want to know who's got all that information, and who did you release all that information to? Who are all the people that commented on these posts? Who are all the people that they're gonna try to get them to cough up some serious information from Twitter, I don't know if that's going to negatively impact not only Tesla and it would also impact Twitter. Netflix, surprisingly, with their woke culture, is up 1%. I'm anti-Netflix at this point. They went ultra woke, and I'm not cool with that. Meta platform, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, is up 0.25%. So not too bad, not too bad. Crypto, of course, taking a bloodbath. Forex, if you look at all the other denominations, the whole markets except for I want to say that's Switzerland. So I mean, there are some things that are not doing too good. Switzerland is also looking at deploying the CBDC coin. Yay! That'll make their monetary value go to zero overnight. Futures market. So if you guys are betting in the futures market, gold is up. Not, it's trading sideways. Silver's down about 0.1%, nominal, realistically. Crude oil is pulling back a little bit. Natural gas is having a boom day. That corn, not Bitcoin, just regular corn, is actually not doing too good. And Bitcoin is doing shitty too on the futures market. Bonds, U.S. 10-year bond down 50. You're losing money by buying a 10-year bond. Euros, the European bond 10-year, you're losing almost half a percent a year now. Germany 10-year, same thing. Japanese 10-year, almost a 0.5% a year. The UK, and it's funny because the UK has gone back into quantitative easing. They are now almost 1% loss now, because when you start loosening up your monetary policies, you basically are running high debt numbers. So now you're negative. You're adding more debt on. It's like adding more bonds into the market, which is diluting it, causing the market to crash out. So, and Indian market, they probably have some kind of manipulation going on to see that, unless they stop printing money. If they stop printing money, that'll be amazing. I highly doubt it, though. Highly, highly, highly doubt it. So, I mean, but if you were playing arbitrage with the bond market, being a bond vigilante, India would be a good 10-year bond to get into, but it doesn't mean that that's what it's going to yield over the next 10 years. That is just right now, right? So just look at it that way. They're all these countries are running high deficits, which is negatively impacting their bond market, because the bond market is that restructuring of debt from each country individually. So when you buy a bond, you're in essence loaning the government of that bond money, and they promise to pay it back. Well, when you're running high interest, you're running high inflation rates, you can't pay it back. You're losing money. That's just how it works with these bond markets. Bond markets are a way to know how bad each country's doing. That's just what it is. It's like a temperature gauge. It's all it is. All it is. And then getting into that sweet busy Bitcoin. Like I said, looks like we are going to be trading right on in here. We've had our first pullback, guys, which that is, I'm happy over this. So we finally had our little cool down, where it tried to wick down lower, and it was fought. So we are sitting, it's like we're not out of the woods yet, guys. I mean, I think that if we break down below the median line, my next real target for a support would be at that $20,000 mark. There's really nothing other than we keep returning back into here. So if I were to take I should be able to change color. Let's see here. We will make it a blue. Yes, okay. So we really our next support line is right at that 21,200 mark. After that, we can free fall from there. I don't think so that we're going to, because we do not have a setup for a Head and Shoulders, guys. And we've already been descending for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've been descending for 11 days. 11 days with a 1, 2, 3, 4, with a 5-day fight in the middle of it trading sideways. So this is going to be a market that I think is where I think we've cooled off almost for the push down. We've returned down back to the original push down state. So there's no way that you're going to tell me that this is a Head and Shoulders at this point. We have returned back down to the floor of what I think is the support line. We broke through the support line and then shot back up, which is showing that this is a support line. So I don't think that we'll go down much further from here, guys. I think this is going to be the worst of it. I could be wrong. We are still, the moving average is starting to loosen up now that we're down here at this level. But if we can just trade out sideways from here, it'll retighten up that moving average, and might put in a little bit of buying pressure back into the market overall. So we'll just have to see how it plays out for the next couple of days. In order for me to, it's like it's all about getting that data. So I would like to see 3, maybe 4 days of it trading out sideways and not continuing to break down. If it continues to break down from here, guys, I think we're going to hit that $21,000 marker. And if we blow past that too far, we may free fall for a little bit. There might be a manipulation in the market coming in that is in a couple of different ways, and I don't think it's going to be just straight up market manipulation from within inside of the crypto hemisphere. I think that some crypto people might take advantage of something like this, and try to help push down that buy price. That's pushing down the initial buying price on there. That's fine, but there are a few other things that are in play here. That I'll kind of circle back to and kind of dive into a little bit more on how that's really affecting not only crypto space, but it's affecting all the spaces. Because remember, guys, if you go back to the indicators, the Russell 2000, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and the S&P are all trading sideways right now. There's a reason for it. They're about to pull back. So we'll get into a little bit of this. We'll get into all the things that I think that are kind of alluding to the market, like that, where it's going for right now. So one of them is going to be this, guys. So White House is aware of the whole Silvergate situation. The Silvergate, Biden administration is aware of the Silvergate and will continue to monitor the reports as the troubled bank as it unfolds, according to the White House spokesperson, Karine Jean-Pierre. So speaking at the House press, the press secretary said that the White House has notes that the Silvergate and other major crypto firms to experience significant issues in the recent months. But declined to go further into specifics on the firm itself. So Silvergate is one of the lenders to the crypto space. They've done a lot in this space. It's looking like they are under scrutiny now, and they might be insolvent at this point. We'll have to see how that one really goes. And this is gonna be they've helped out different crypto projects, all the way down to mining facilities and stuff like that. So yo, what up, Gundy? Yo. What's going on, Crypto Craig? It's like, I will hit you up this week. Nice. Awesome, my dude. Thank you. Yeah, we can go over some things and stuff, and yeah, that's what's up. Thank you for making some time for me. Thank you indeed. So, as the Silvergate unfolds here, we'll see how deep this is going to be. Is this going to be a bank that's going to be completely insolvent at this point, and no coming back? We'll see. I'm sure a lot of people are now kind of a little sketched out about touching anything into the crypto projects, especially with loaning to any of these crypto firms. So we'll see how that works, but I'm not sure how much that's really going to affect the crypto space altogether. You know, considering that this isn't the only event going on in the crypto space is going to be Silvergate. The other part is going to be this, guys. So as like a little quick take, Jerome Powell spoke on March 7th. Powell, with the new data, suggests the ultimate level of rates is likely to be higher than previously anticipated. If the totality of the data was to indicate that faster tightening is warranted, we would be prepared to increase the pace of rate hikes. So the DXY breaks 105, while the other major currencies break down. Great Britain hit an all-new low of $1.18. And that goes back to going into like looking at this stuff right here. When you're looking at the bond market, that's where they're kind of talking about right here, where the currencies are breaking down in comparison to other countries. So they're having to issue more bonds in order to they're having to issue more bonds in order to issue more currency, like this chart here is showing, right? So as these charts sit there and start popping off with their currencies, they have to issue bonds because they're basically monetizing the debt. That is the only way that they can run with printing as much money as humanly possible. So right now, the new peak rate is 5.6 in the futures market, while 50 basis points is the preferred choice for the markets for the upcoming financial meeting in March. I'm thinking that we are going to be they're going to try to raise it, and I'm hoping that Jerome Powell pops this sucker one full do 100 basis points on this, so 1% rate increase. It's like, come on, let's do it. You know, the market's waiting for it. You know, they're trying to tell him that they only want a 0.5% raise. I'm saying he needs to go for glory, really. If he had the cojones, and I mean the absolute cojones, he wants to get the inflation back down to no more than 2%. Let's see that 13% interest. Let's make borrowing capital very expensive. You want to know why I say making the capital as expensive as possible to reborrow? It does something very strange to the economy. It's like I'm old enough at this point to have seen it happen in real life. Okay, I lived through the 80s. When the interest rates got hiked in the 80s to get in front of the inflation that was caused through the 70s. I watched people go from, oh, I will just buy new, to, oh, can I get that repaired? And is the repair of that device cheaper than manufacturing a brand new one? And that's where repair shops start springing up, because people want to repair the devices they have instead of just throwing it away and buying the next generation. That's basically what put my parents out of business when I was a kid. So, just fun fact, I grew up in an electronic repair shop. Go figure. I am a hardware junkie, and I like tinkering with hardware. Go figure that I had a background in this when I was a child. So we would fix TVs, VCRs, home entertainment systems, and stuff like that. A lot of it was either kids spilling stuff on it or lightning taking it out, right? Surge protectors were there, but most people never used it. It was the 80s, guys. Surge protectors were expensive. I'm just saying. So, towards the end of my parents owning the electronic repair shop, it started getting to the point where repairing a VCR was $90. To buy a brand new one with all the new features on it. Ooh. LCD readout displays on the front of it. Ooh. Digital high definition forehead hi-fi. I mean, it was like, and it became cheaper and cheaper and cheaper from there. I mean, like, it was $90 to repair it, $110 to buy it new. And you had all the glitz and glamour of it. And then at a certain point, it went from, because as we got closer to DVDs being popular, once DVDs became popular, it was still $90 to repair that VCR. But the VCR now was costing you $50 to buy new. So you just throw it away. At a certain point in time, you're gonna go to the store and you'll be like, well, let me get that new DVD. What? They want $500 for a new DVD player? And then you're gonna pick up your old one and you're gonna go to the repair shop and you're gonna hand it to him and you're like, can you repair this? And for how much? And then I'm gonna sit there and be like, I probably, no guarantee, it'll be $20 to take a look at it, to figure out what's going on from there. Or, $50 to take a look at it, depending on how bad inflation is. I'm just giving out stupid numbers at this point. So, let's say all said and done, I'm $250 to repair that, to repair your DVD player, versus buying a new one for $500. And we're talking, that's the cheap one. That's when you start seeing small mom and pop repair shops springing up back into business. People are going to be very profitable when that paradigm switches, and brand new stuff is far more expensive than getting your old device repaired. We're going to get there, guys. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So, yeah, and that's basically some of the stuff that Jerome Powell is talking about. Is, it's like we need to get the inflation genie back under control, which is going to drive the brand new prices of things up, because these businesses have taken out such egregious loans, they need you, the consumer, to pay more money for that good that really hasn't changed in value, except for the value of the dollar sucks. And now they have to pay back loans that they can't get good enough loans now, because they've already got the good interest rates. They're not going to refinance themselves at a higher rate. it means it's going to cost them more money. So it's best to just lock themselves in right where they're at and see if they can survive, right? Which this is going to cause a number of things. And Jerome Powell absolutely knows this. So the companies are going to sit there and start off with the simple stuff. They're going to cut the redundancies out of the company. So if they've got 3 people doing this, or let's say they got 5 people doing the same job in the company, they can get rid of 3 of them and just have 2, right? Just 2 of them doing the job that a team of 5 we used to be doing. It sucks because 2 people are only worth 8 hours a day. So them being only worth 8 hours a day, they're losing, what is that? Let's see here, 16. So 24. They're losing 24 hours worth of productivity each day. Because each person's worth 24 hours, is worth 8 hours, right? So we got 24 hours of hit because they're down to 2 people. And this is now them trimming out insurance out of the bill, out of their budget, their payroll out of their budget, benefits out of their budget, because, you got somebody that's been there for a couple of years, they're going to have insurance. So now you're going to be paying, you have insurance, you have vacation time. Each person is going to have so much vacation, and that's going to be a hit on your bottom line too. You want to give everybody in vacation time, otherwise they're going to revolt and say that you're slave owners and blah, 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 blah. So they're going to sit there and cut that down. And then they're going to know, hey, we can hire some people back in, but part-time, and we don't have to give them any vacation. We only have to offer them mediocre insurance. And it's on them if they don't choose it, because we're not going to pay them enough to be able to pay for that insurance. So there's that. You see where this goes. And at this point, they look around and they're like, well, we've trimmed out all the fat. The only thing we got left is to jack the prices of all the goods up. And at that point, they're going to jack up to a point, and the government's going to step in and be like, oh, you guys are scamming the people. And it's like, bro, we have bills. These bills we can't pay. We either have to charge everybody more money, or we have to go out of business, which means you don't get any money. So which direction do you want this to go in? Do you want the business to default on the loans that impact the banks, that impact the government? Or do you want to just have it where they charge people X amount of dollars? Because what will end up happening is they'll have to go into quantitative easing in some ways where, yes, they're doing price control to keep the prices from going through the roof. They did this in the 70s, guys. Just saying. It was done in the 70s. And other countries do this if the inflation gets out of control. Because if it gets out of control, the people aren't earning enough money to outpace the inflation. So they got to cap it. Once they cap it, you discourage all businesses from doing business because they can't pay the loans they've already gotten. So therefore, then they have to go, the government goes to the banks and goes, you got to give them a break. And then it all spirals out from there. And then you can just add zeros onto the debt ceiling. And that's how it's going to roll. Because that's just how bad it can potentially snowball here. If they sit there and push these rates, because you can't, at this point, you can't taper a Ponzi. This whole system is a racket that they've been sitting here manipulating since they took us off the gold standard in 71. Since there was no accountability to the currency we use, they done destroyed that in 50 years. No currency has been able to survive realistically more than that 50-year marker as a complete fiat system. We're a little over that 50-year marker right now. Just a little bit. They're trying to sit there and manipulate it every which way so they can keep it going. We'll see how badly this is going to hurt, because I think it's going to get worse. And there's a lot of smarter people, smarter than I, that are sitting here trying to raise the red flag, and they're being called crazy kooks And these people, you're talking JP Morgan's raising the bell. Chase is, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. Yeah, that's it. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Peter Schiff. He's been sitting there raising the alarm bell on this for 10 years. He's just a little too early. If he were to sit there and was hitting it a little bit more on the head a little earlier and how the market was really rolling, he'd be more of a credible source on this. But yeah, and Jerome Powell is gonna raise interest rates until basically you lose your job. And once you lose your job, it's too late, guys. We're gonna be in a depression after that. Mark my words. If Jerome Powell thinks that he's gonna, it's like I've been saying for like the last few months, he's sitting here taking the interest rate and pushing it and watching it teeter on the edge. This way, sliding down, and inflation goes through the roof. This way, it slides down, inflation comes down, right? And he's sitting here teetering, and he's like pushing it. Right now, he's pushing the interest rate up, and it's unfortunately it's pushing it towards the cliff of high inflation rates, even though the interest rate's high. We're going to have a double whammy, which is going to be high interest with high inflation. This is a recipe for disaster. All it's going to take, I think, is the catalyst is just the labor market taking a hit. If the labor market takes a smack and the labor market is no longer, there's not enough people working, the system will seize up. I'm just saying, we are coming onto that brink, guys. It's not all gloom and doom. I mean, if everybody is sitting here and have been listening to the things that I'm doing for myself, see that I'm not giving any financial advice. If you guys have been listening to the things that I'm doing for myself, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and bullets. Smarter people, more people smarter than me have been saying the same thing. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, bullets. If you guys don't know who he is, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy. He's the guy that wrote that Rich Dad, Poor Dad book years and years and years ago. That everybody was like, oh, you're one of those gold bugs. It's like, no, he likes tangible things that are real and that are financial protection or just protection in general. And he's an ex-Marine. He understands this. He's gone through gold mines. He's silver mines, gold mines. He's a much smarter dude than me. And he understands that people who work have already lost. If you are earning a wage for the hours spent, your hourly wage is far higher, should be far higher than where you're getting paid right now. If you got paid what you were truly worth, the government would collapse. It cannot sustain itself if everybody was being paid what they were worth, because it would show the manipulation in each one of these corporations, and they would go belly up and they would take the government out with them. I mean, I'm all for that. But that transition period for everybody is going to be a rough one. And that's what they're trying to, at this point, they're trying to do damage control to try to stop a transition period of that. What up, DJ Mines? What's going on, my dude? Thank you for being here. Yo. So, we have a lot of different markets coming in play here from Jerome Powell that he's trying to sit here and kind of stop it from going into the abyss. But I think he's in the event horizon, and I don't think he's seeing it clearly at this point. So that is always going to be an issue that they're going to have, is trying to not push the interest rates up so high that too many people lose their jobs. because I don't think that they're 100% looking at the other end of this. And they are looking at manipulated numbers. The Federal Reserve loves their manipulated numbers because it pats them on the back when they do shitty jobs. Unfortunately, that's how this works. They sit around and they go like, "Oh, look at this. We manipulated these numbers. We're doing great now. We took out everything that's costing the people money. So there's no inflation. It's problem solved." Just finish up writing my essay. Turns out it's not due until Sunday. I grind for no reason. No, you did not grind for no reason. You've got more time to make sure it's perfect. You got more time to ensure an A in the class or an A on the paper. I'm just saying. With it being already finished, you should be able to do another revision and make it just like Shakespeare, you know? I'm just saying. Yes, and more time to play StarCraft 2. These are facts. These are facts. I mean, you either freed up time or you got a guaranteed A. If you get anything less than an A now, I mean, it's only your fault for not going through it once or twice more, one or two more times. Maybe having somebody that's really good with essays take a look at it too and see if they could add or subtract something out of there to make it just. It's like grind hard, play hard. Oh yeah. So, with Jerome Powell sitting here trying to push people out of work, and it's kind of funny. They questioned Jerome Powell over this too, and he's like, we need to get the inflation back under control, and I'm looking at it and doing another aggressive rate hike by the end of the month. So we have 30 days. The market's gonna poop itself for the next 30 days, guys. Just saying. U.S. crude oil, nothing updated. Still in December. I'm waiting for the next month that I think it's at the end of this month. They'll be sitting there and releasing the first month worth of crude oil. See how much more we're depleting it because Biden's got this attack on the energy, and as energy prices start going up in cost. It starts to also make everything else go up in price also, because everything on the planet takes energy in order to create. You cannot create anything from nothing. You must have input in order to have output. There's no energy and goods going in, or I say not energy and goods, energy and raw materials going in. You get no goods on the other side. And to think that wind power is going to advance us in the industrial era, they're going to have a whole new thing coming. They're killing off they're trying to open up pipelines in Alaska. They have just shot that down. So our pipeline got shot down. A new oil prospect getting shot down in Alaska, which would have brought a lot of jobs to Alaska. We are not giving out any leases on land that has any viable oil that's worth drilling for. It's like if you sit there and you tell somebody, "Hey, we'll give you this lease." It's the same price as the good lease with the easier to get oil. But over here, we don't care about the land so much, and the oil is really deep down there. It's going to cost you 3 times the amount to drill that oil out. You might as well go out of business. They're not in the business to do deep oil drilling. The super deep oil drilling costs an astronomical amount of money that the government knows. They're fully aware of this, and they're blaming the oil producer still for there being an oil shortage. It's like, no, you just made it to where it would cost us money to actually dig it up. There is no way to recoup the revenue from that because they're getting oil from other areas that are far cheaper. If they go after that, like standard oil wells that we have here in the United States, let's say we can produce for the ones that are not deep, right, near the surface. Let's say your older style oil pumping wells. Let's say those guys, they can probably produce at $65 a barrel. Guys that are fracking, those guys are producing it at about $130 a barrel for fracking. If they go deep fracking, or I say so if you go deep oil wellhead drilling, that $65 per barrel will be more like around $300 a barrel. There is nowhere on the market that anybody's going to pay $300 a barrel of oil. They're out of business. Fracking, I'm not sure how far down they can go. I just know that it's $130 for where they're at right now. And that's them trying to get that oil out of every little nook and cranny in between rocks, right? If they go down deeper, we're looking at what, a $600 per barrel? They're out of business. I mean, it's bad enough that fracking is already a losing business. Every company that's fracking out there is subsidized by taxpayer dollars, period. So with that being said, if it's being subsidized and it's $130 per barrel still, think about what it would be to produce it if it wasn't subsidized. Just saying. And these are all things that are adding up to the energy costs for where they are right now. You cannot sustain high energy prices if you want to have a booming economy. Energy is the lifeblood of any economy. It doesn't matter if you're going back into the Stone Age. It took energy to produce X goods. It took energy to transport X goods over X distance. It's been like this since the Stone Age. You take away the energy input, everything's gone. And that's what this whole ESG movement is. And it's killing the energy sector, which is causing everything to go up in price too. Because, that's just another burden that these producers have to pay for. So unfortunately, it is what it is, right? Unemployment's been kind of stagnant from during the last month. Again, Jerome Powell's looking at these numbers from the unemployment statistics rates to start going up. When they start going up, he'll cool off on, of course, raising interest rates. That's his new metric is you losing your job. Period. He keeps on reciting that we have a strong working sector that can handle it. So he's going to raise the interest rates until the economic market cannot handle it. AE, you lose your job. There's already jobs being lost. Lots of them. But these are also redundant tech jobs that probably had people there that have been doing absolutely nothing. Their job is to go to work, eat some food, and take a nap. Because they don't do nothing. And if you've got 70 people doing the same job, and you realize that out of those 70 people that are doing the same job, that the amount of workload that each one of them is doing is 5 minutes a day out of an 8-hour period, how much you need to get rid of until everybody's doing 8 hours worth of work during an 8-hour work period. That's the fundamental where you're going to see a lot of these companies shrink down to. You'll see some try to cut the fat just a little bit more. They'll push on these people to go take something that they can produce in 8 hours and take, let's say, 12 hours worth of work to do in that 8 hours instead. They'll push it that way. And once they have people just quitting on them because it's too much of a workload for one person to handle, then these companies will dribble back, give a few more employees in there to ease up the workload, and then you'll watch all the products and just jack up through the roof, and game over. Off to work, let's freaking go! Yeah, good. Have fun, automatic boots. Have fun. Left-handed cigarette engaged. Too funny. Too freaking funny. All right, here. So, Kraken Crypto Exchange to disrupt traditional banking with the launch of its own bank for digital assets. So, check that out. Yep. Looks like FTX again, right? It's like, I know that the guy that owns Kraken, he's anti-woke, so I like that about him. He gets but it's still an exchange, and how is it loaning? We'll have to see how, if they get themselves into a sticky situation like all the other crypto lending platforms out there, that fall under heavy scrutiny because they start loaning out money and they overextend themselves. I mean, that's basically what FTX did. And then they have their own exchange token and they try to buy their way out of it with a worthless coin. And FTX exploded on them. Hopefully, the guys over at Kraken just do it from their profits, and they go, hey, we have a war chest. We'd be willing to loan you. What's your collateral? If they do it proper and show how banks are supposed to do it, I'll again give them another applause for that, right? But I'm not going to hold my breath. We'll have to see if they can fight the urge to being, how can I put it, greedy and manipulative. And if they're going to be loaning, it's like, and then I'd like to know if they're loaning crypto or if they're loaning cash. Because if they start loaning cash, they've got to go and follow the Bankers Secrecy Act and all of that stuff. So they would have to go deeper into what the banking regulations in order to offer cash, especially here in the United States. I don't know if he's going to go down that route. If he does, that'll give me a little bit more confidence in what he's doing, because with being underneath the Bankers Secrecy Act, he's going to be under scrutiny from the Federal Reserve and the overseeing body from the government that looks over all the banks to make sure that they're not being scammy little pieces of what. So we'll see how they go about this. I would assume that it's going to be like crypto loaning, so they'll loan out Bitcoin or something like that. But again, we will see how they really focus in on this. But they, it's like some of the things that they were talking about was they were looking into products like deposit accounts into USD and crypto assets like Bitcoin, multiple funding and payments options, industry custody products, qualified custody for advisors and brokers and dealers, IRAs, and many more. So that would almost sit there and mean that they're going to be looking at getting into the Bankers Secrecy Act and stuff like that. And that's why I bring that up, is that, with one of the things that they were stating from them. And Kraken's bank is designed for crypto via the Wyoming Special Purpose Depository Institution framework, which means it's enabled the bank to prioritize assets, custody, and safekeeping. So gives me a little hope that Kraken's going to try to do things the right way. Like I said, the CEO of Kraken is very much a Bitcoin focused person. Yes, he's offering poop coins on there. But he's going to do whatever makes money at that point. Do I agree with it? Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I understand it. Do I agree with it? No. Do I understand it? Yes. Would I probably do that if I was in his shoes? Yes. So, I mean, like, he's going down. It sounds like he's going down the right path. He talks the talk, but let's see if he can walk the walk. And that's been an issue with a lot of the exchanges over the years, is they all talk really good, and then they do something stupid. But he did reject all the woke individuals out of his company. He told them, either you take your woke ideologies and a severance package and walk, or I will root you out and fire you. So I like that. These are things that are, net positive in my book, and makes me not like just dismiss Kraken right off the bat. So interesting stuff. We'll see how that goes for sure. And then Yuga Labs, guys. If you guys are unfamiliar with them, Yuga Labs first Bitcoin NFT auction nets $16.5 million in 24 hours. That's right, guys. There is an NFT on Bitcoin. Now, a lot of the hardcore Bitcoin maximalists that are looking at Bitcoin as the financial structure that it was derived to be. That this is a waste of resources on the Bitcoin blockchain. At the same time, it's a use case. Something that's been able to be. You were able to do this for a while. You were able to make a Bitcoin NFT for a hot minute. This is nothing new. It's just the first time that somebody's actually done it. And it's just making a big splash because it's the first one. So the highest bidder of the 288 bidders forked out just over 7 Bitcoin for just one of the 288 Bitcoin Ordinal based NFTs up for auction. The auction for Yuga Labs, an inaugural Bitcoin Ordinal non-fungible token collection, has ended, netting the firm $16.5 million in just 24 hours. It is they're up probably way more than they ever expected it to ever get. I mean, they knew there was going to be some buzz over it, but I bet you they did not expect it to be that much of a buzz. The 12-fold auction has ended. Congratulations to the top 288 bidders. You'll receive your inscription within 1 week. Valid blocks that did not rank in the top 288 will have their bid amount returned to the receiving address within 24 hours. The auction yielded 735 Bitcoin. Yo, that is wild. But the top bidder was 7.1159 Bitcoin. That is crazy. Number 288, the last ordinal that got sold, that was up for auction, went for 2.2501 of a Bitcoin. So just a little over 2.25 Bitcoin could have gotten you a Yuga Lab NFT. Again, I do not see any value in NFTs. Period. It's like, yes, this one hash function here is going to have a little bit of value to it because of the fact that people bought it now. Let's talk in 10 years. Did it go up in price or down in price? If it goes down from here, all these people lost their money. If they sit there and they buy this and then they just sell it off, thinking that especially this high bidder, 7.1 Bitcoin. What, is he going to try to sell it for 8 Bitcoin now? 10 Bitcoin? What's his selling price? Or is he going to hold on to this thing that he spent 7 Bitcoin for? Now, this could be triple OG Bitcoiner. He's going, man, I've got like 8,000 Bitcoin. What's 7 of them for having some stupid NFT that's Bitcoin specific and it's in my wallet now? It's hard to say. Like, in one hand, yes, I see it having value. On the other hand, I see it being a waste of resources. And in the third hand, I just see it as a complete waste, unless you're planning on selling it and selling it for a profit. And can you sell it for a profit? You know, that's the other thing. It's like you buy something. Are you stuck with it? Are you like, is this your Mona Lisa moment? It could be. Very well could be. And one last topic before we head up out of here, guys. DAO gets recognition in the Utah as the DAO Act passes. This one's hilarious. Like, I try to leave people with stuff that's funny. They made a DAO Act. Utah legislation passed the Utah DAO Act, granting DAO legal recognition and limited liability protections. So this new law provides regulations and limited liabilities to DAOs, legally framing them as Utah LLDs. Which LLD is a limited liability, something like that. The act results from a combined effort between Digital Innovations Task Force and the Utah Blockchain Legislature. So we got poop coiners and poop coiners trying to go, oh, DAO is good. Yeah, I don't think so, but whatever. So the Utah DAO Act was approved on March 1st. After passing through the Senate and House committees, it defines ownership of a DAO and protects DAO compliant anonymity through bylaws, quality assurance DAOs protocols, and also introduced to ensure clear nuances in the tax treatment and updated DAO functionalities. Utah's kind of interesting. They don't have like there's a tax that they don't like, a federal tax on assets. So they don't tax assets. Your house is an asset, so they don't charge you a federal tax in Utah, which that also includes with trading Bitcoin. So if you're utilizing Bitcoin, there is no extra taxable event if you are a Utah resident, because that's just how they roll. So, I mean, like, it's nice. Hey, what up, Ark? He's like, censored crypto, changed name. Oh, nice. That's cool. What's going on, my dude? What up? I'm about to head up out of here. So, but Utah being a pretty cool spot for, like, a little bit of an easier time with your taxation side of it, due to they don't have federal property tax, and assets are property. Bitcoin is property, which is pretty nice. They've got some other goofed up stuff that happens in Utah too, but I mean, tax wise, so I mean, it's not all roses and lilies out there. You know, they make up for it in other areas. Trust me. There's a reason why people are not trying to set up and do business out there in droves. So it's nice to see that they're trying to protect the vast majority of the crypto space with a limited liability framework. I hope that just means that they also hold them up to a higher standard, that if they do something stupid, that they not only just like come after them, they throw the book at them. You know, if you're going to sit there and say, hey, we're willing to protect this stuff, then you have to be, when they do something egregious, you have to be willing to throw the book at them, no matter how much they donate to your campaign. Doesn't matter how much they lobby you. It doesn't matter. If they do something egregious, you need to throw the book at them. Hold these people to higher standards. If you're going to protect them, they must be held to a higher standard. Period. And that's where I have an issue. Is they'll protect them, but then they're like, well, how do we hold them to a higher standard? We don't know how to do that. It's like, really? Then why are you protecting them? Why not just step off to the side, get out of the way, and if they do something stupid, let the people come after them? It's not like a gun manufacturer where every nutbag in California is trying to put them out of business with frivolous lawsuits that they know they're going to lose. But it's bad. They have enough of them compiling up that the gun industry cannot make any money because they're always in court, spending every dollar that they make until they go out of business. They basically want to sue every gun manufacturer out of business that deals guns to the public. Now, if they were only guns for the government, there would be no lawsuits. Even if catch this out, get this, guys. Even if a cop sat there and shot an innocent person and killed them, none of these people would go after the gun manufacturer that gave the gun to the police officer. They'll go after the police officer and the police department. Nothing about the weapons manufacturer. But if it's a civilian that shoots another civilian, now they go after the person who shot and the gun manufacturer. So, these are reasons why, ammo and guns are so expensive, because, frivolous lawsuits. And they're halfway protected, but California's trying to find like little workarounds so that they can sue these companies out of business. And it's not even that they're suing them and winning. Just saying. But it is funny to see that that Utah is now protecting the Dow. Hopefully they hold them up to a higher standard and all that good stuff. So, does anybody have... they trying to turn Minnesota into California. Tell your friends to stop voting for it. Just remember, the socialists do not believe that communism has ever been attempted, because communism has to be global. They're trying to infect every state so far, and it's basically gonna be breadlines, dude. You want to see a third world country? Let these people vote this stuff in. It'll be a third world country. California has people like, hey, you go into California and you're like, oh man, you're in the middle of nowhere, and you yell out, hey, where's the bathroom at? And you just hear somebody down at the corner, out in the streets. I'm just saying, guys. And any state that adopts anything that freaking California is doing, that is going to be their demise. New York has that problem. Philadelphia has that problem. Let's see here. Georgia has that problem. So Pennsylvania, New York, Georgia, Illinois is starting to have that issue. California, anywhere that they have that, any of these far left liberal law sets that come in, it devastates the economy, local economy, drives good businesses out, and then there's no businesses left. And once the good businesses leave, the real working class, that has the ability to, leaves with the job. And then who's left are the people who didn't spend their money right. They're in debt. They were unable to move with the job. And they're now sitting there and went from middle class to being poor because their job's gone and all they can get is a part-time job. It's like time to leave Minnesota. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It sucks. It sucks. You know, it's like, and what really sucks is that it's the major cities that are voting this way. So you have such a dense population of people in a city, and all the politicians in that city are promising to give them stuff. You know, a train around town, a bus system, you know, help. All these little social programs that they have set up in there. Now all these people are dependent on those social programs, and they will vote blindly in order to keep those social programs or expand on those social programs. And it doesn't matter if the rest of the state is going, we are suffering from your bad policies. And there's so many of them in one little area that they outvote the whole state. That's how Illinois is. Chicago votes. So Cook County, there's two counties, Cook County and Lake County, vote Democratic. 2 counties out of all of Illinois is the reason why Illinois is Democrat. 2 counties. That's all it takes. Why is it 2 counties? You have Chicago, which is a densely populated big city, and then you have the northern suburbs that support that said big city. See the pattern here? And then they make a loser, you know, because they got 2, you know, 1 and 2. Loser. So yeah, anytime, like you have to pay attention to the and guys, pay attention to your local legislation, guys. When you're doing this stuff, when you're looking at going, oh my God, they're going to destroy the economy. It all starts at the school. A lot of these politicians start at the schools. Why do you think the schools are having such issues? Big brain stuff. Politicians start at the school board and to jumpstart their career. So we have socialists and groomers sitting there running the school boards, jumpstarting their careers in the Democratic politicians. Why do you think the school boards are mostly Democrat? They've been completely infiltrated. And this is where most people start, and this is where the last people were normal working people like me and you, we don't pay attention to it. I'm just saying, you want to make a difference? Starts at the schools. Like, I've been eyeing up other states. Montana seems nice. Yeah, as long as you're there's work, you know. Work for the line that you do. That's a lot of logging country. Cool area. My wife lived out there in what was it? Sweetwater, Whitewater, Whitefish. She lived in Whitefish, Montana for a while. Mountains over behind you, middle of nowhere. So, anybody got any other comments or questions before I head up out of here, guys? Definitely, if you made it this far, smash that Lizzie like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. Yo! That's what's up, guys. So I'd love to have you guys sit there and join the Patreon. Links down below, especially if you want to have your rigs hosted at the Family Mine. We are getting ever so close to opening our doors, fellas. So the closer we get to this, guys, it's going to be freaking amazing stuff, guys. I mean, absolutely amazing. So we're getting closer to that. We're getting power. We're gonna have we're getting ready to sign contracts and stuff like that with the power company to get them all going with this, and all that good stuff. And if you guys don't want to have your rigs hosted at a facility, think about joining the Patreon too. I get a little $5 tier. It helps me out. I'm just saying. Just helps me out. No pressure. No, just kidding. You don't have to, but links down below. If you want to and you haven't done so already, I have a Discord link down below that's free to join. Love to have all you guys part of the community. Got awesome group of people in the Discord already, so love to have you all there. And if you guys don't have any other comments or questions, FA in the Chizity chat before I leave, guys. Drop those FAs, yo, because you guys are freaking awesome, yo. So, with that being said, I'm going to sign off out of here. Peace out. Stay savage. May your watts be low and your hash be high. I'll see you on the next one, yo.